because coming in at number 28 on our Locked On Senators 2025 NHL Draft Rankings from the U.S. National Team Development Program, it's Jack Murtagh.
Yeah, Jack Murtagh, interesting prospect for sure. August 07 birthday, so one of the youngest players in the draft. That's always important to note. With the USNTDP, 56 games, 22 goals, 31 assists for 53 points. Also had a nice showing at the U18s, 6 points in 7 games, and he's moving on. He is committed to Boston University for next season.
And what I love about Jack Murtagh, too, is that everyone that talks about him discusses how he raises his game in the biggest moments. When you need a goal, you need Jack Murtagh on the ice. He's got an elite motor. He's always buzzing around out there. And there's a good reason why a lot of our scouts are high on the left shot winger who plays both left wing and right wing. He's 6'1", almost 200 pounds. And Bob McKenzie has him at 26 on his list. Locked On NHL prospects at 29. Same with elite prospects. McKean's actually the highest on him at 21. Scott Wheeler at 34. Craig Button 32. And Corey Pronman did not include him in his top 36. Murtagh wore an A for the under 18 USNTDP team this year and was an offensive contributor as well with 22 goals and 53 points in 56 games. Scott Wheeler said his under 18s left a little bit to be desired, but he still put up 6 points in 7 games. So the contributions offensively were there. And to me, he's a projectable player that whether he hits the peak of being able to be, let's say, a third player on a top 6 line, I think he can still contribute in other ways if he's playing a little bit lower in a depth role.
Yeah, I agree, Ross. I think he's a well-rounded player. He's got good speed. The highlights I was watching, he can get past defenders on the rush. He's a strong, straight-line skater. Like, he's one of those guys who will get the puck in his own end, and he's not thinking about east, west, doing drop passes, anything like that. He's like, okay, I got the puck. I'm going straight north. And he does it well, though. So you can't really blame him for that, although he's going to have to find different ways to transition the puck up the ice. EP mentions that he's got to work on using his teammates more to transition the puck, get some give and goes going there as well. But he's got nice vision, 31 assists in 56 games. And I really noticed that he's got a good one-timer on the right flank on the power play. They were using him as a finisher on the program's power play quite often. And if he gets it in his wheelhouse, nice teed up, he's going to blast that thing home on the man advantage more often than not.
Yes, and what I also appreciate about Jack Murtagh too is that when you look at the off-ice conditioning, he's going to be one of the most prepared players going. There's some great quotes in a feature done by Scott Wheeler from the NTDP strength and conditioning coach, Joe Maloney. He calls him a freak athlete, and he sees a lot of athletes that are elite coming through the program each and every year. So that's pretty high praise coming from him. He's a player I would be extremely interested in learning more about if I'm the Ottawa Senators. He's a guy I would have been all over in the interview process at the Combine. He's a real option to me at 21. That's, I think, the first time I've said that, because others have been like, okay, if they like the profile, maybe you could make it make sense. This guy fits the bill of what the Senators look for. Great hockey sense, great motor, great athlete. He's a real possibility for Ottawa at 21.
Yeah, I think so. I think 21 is a little high for him, Ross. Like, if the Sens selected him, it'd be interesting to see how the rest of the draft has gone. I think there's guys with bigger potential and a higher upside, but he's such a good, well-rounded player that if the Ottawa Senators did decide to take him at 21, I wouldn't be upset. He's got lots of tools. You look at the speed, the motor, the shot. So there's really not a big issue for me with Murtagh. And Scott Wheeler mentions that defense, maybe not his bread and butter, but he has the tools to become a better player defensively. So I got Jack Murtagh at 4 stars, Ross. I'm proud to say it. I'm off the 3-star, 3.5-star pattern here. Murtagh, 4 stars for me.
And on Elite Prospects, they do an elevator pitch in their draft guide, which is a must get every year. They call him a versatile spark plug winger who took major steps this year as a playmaker, complementing his potent shot with his high intensity, a high likelihood middle six winger. Their shades of is Chris Kreider, who I think that would be a great career for a late first round pick if you could get a Chris Kreider out of it. And I really like that comparable when you watch his highlights.
Yeah, and that tracks, Ross, because how many times do you see Chris Kreider just speed up the wing, just going straight, and then he blasts past the defender straight and then drives to the net? Now, Chris Kreider has a tendency to drive to the net and through the goalie. So hopefully Murtagh can figure out how not to crash the net and injure goalies multiple times throughout his career. But I do see the comparisons, and I think that's a good one.
Okay, 4-star guy, Pilty. Love to hear that. I am extremely interested in Jack Murtagh. If you get him into your organization, it's not like he's right away going to be the top prospect. I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that he's got an ability to pop off as he's committed to Boston University for this upcoming season. And they're building a great team there. We've already covered other players who are heading there next season, and they've got a great base to work with as well as one of the more prestigious East Coast universities to play hockey at in the fall. So that's where you'll find Jack Murtagh after his career at the USNTDP, where he impressed everybody who he came across there. And for that reason, with an average ranking of 28.5, Jack Murtagh comes in at number 28 on our Locked On Senators 2025 draft rankings. You can find all of our draft profiles available online on YouTube, individually packaged, and all of our profiles are at the end of every single daily episode of the Locked On Senators podcast, where we do have your team every day.